to answer any questions that you have on triple net houses or on any of the houses that we have in inventory that we're going to be viewing tonight. For those of you who are new to triple net houses, you may not be aware, but we are located in Dayton, Ohio, which is located in southwest Ohio. We're about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati and about an hour west of Columbus, Ohio, about an hour and 15 minutes east of Indianapolis. So we're very strategically located. A couple great things that that Dayton has going for it. First and foremost is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. A lot of you may be asking, well, why Dayton? Dayton has a great mixture of some things going on right now in the real estate market and the overall market that makes it very attractive for real estate investors. We are ranked among the top 10 most affordable and undervalued housing markets in the United States, and that's according to CNNMoney.com. Like I just mentioned, Dayton is home to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is one of the largest single-site, actually one of the largest Air Force-based institutions in the country, but is also the largest single-site employer in the entire state of Ohio. And we're lucky enough to have them right here in Dayton. Dayton, most people won't realize this, but Dayton is actually the 7th largest information technology area in the country, and second behind the Silicon Valley for the number of science and engineering PhDs in the area. A lot of that has to do with the Air Force Base and the research and development and technology that goes on not only at the base, but in the companies and the firms that support the base and work in conjunction with the research that goes on there. First and foremost, though, the combination of affordable prices and stable rents really make our market very attractive to investors. And we work with investors from all across the country for that reason. We really have, the perfect scenario or the perfect storm, you can say, for real estate investing. And, that's attracted people from, like I said, all over the country and actually internationally to want to purchase investment property here in Dayton through triple net houses. Some of you may be asking, how does this work? I'm going to, quickly touch on the basics of how our program works. First thing we do is, we are strategically looking for the worst houses in our target areas, in the best areas. We're not looking for streets that are in war zones. We're looking for very solid neighborhoods where a house may be in disrepair or may need a little bit of love. We can purchase that house, completely renovate that house, and do it to our standards. We have a group of subcontractors and general contractors that work with us almost exclusively. So that allows us to really keep our quality control up to a high level and really be able to make our own standards as far as what we consider the standards of a triple net house. Once the house is renovated, we will sell the house to an investor. And then as soon as that investor closes on that property, triple net houses then leases the house back on a 10-year triple net lease. Next question would be, well, what does triple net mean? Some of you may be aware of what triple net is. Triple net has been used in the commercial end of the business for many years. Many large corporations actually do triple net leases on the properties they do business out of rather than purchasing that property. Under a triple net lease, the tenant, which in the triple net case would be our corporation, is responsible for paying all the operating costs associated with that property. And since your lease is with our corporation, we would be responsible for paying the property taxes, paying the hazard insurance, paying all maintenance and repairs necessary on the house during the 10-year lease period. We also provide in-house property management at no cost to the investor. All of this basically equates to a completely turnkey real estate investment and transaction for you. You receive a fixed, predictable, positive monthly cash flow, which equates to a 9.1% cash-on-cash return if you were to purchase the house in cash. And no surprises. You get the peace of mind knowing that we're going to maintain the property, that even if there is not a renter in the house, if we have a vacancy for a month or two, that you will still receive your rent on the due date. And there's nothing that's going to affect your bottom line once you make the investment. move into a couple of the different methods of purchase. You know, first and foremost, obviously cash is one of the easiest ways of purchasing. And as I previously mentioned, if you purchase a house in cash, all the rents that Triple Net Houses pays to you as the investor are calculated at a 9.1% cash-on-cash return. So you know, bottom line, worst case scenario, that investment property is going to generate a 9.1% return annually for you during that 10-year triple net lease period. Now, that does not take into consideration any appreciation over the long term. All of those things, you know, obviously are uncertain, but would just be icing on the cake after the the initial 10-year period. We have a number of people that do purchase through their self-directed IRAs. This is a great way to forego the tax implications of the investment right now. You know, this is more for people who are not really needing the cash flow per se on a monthly basis, but want that cash flow to go into their retirement account and into their investment account. 1031 exchange, we do on occasion work with 1031 exchange customers who have a property wherever it may be in the country, and they're looking to exchange that property for either a triple net house or even a number of triple net houses. You know, some of our customers that are in areas such as California, New York, where they may be selling a single-family house for $400,000 or $500,000, are able to purchase multiple triple net houses in that like-kind exchange, and that works very well, and also helps them to increase their cash flow significantly. And then also, you know, a lot of you may not be aware, but you know, you hear all the news that financing is very hard to come by. And yes, the regulations and the restrictions are a lot more stringent these days. However, there is still access to conventional financing on investment property, and we do have sources that can assist you with that if that's the route that you want to go. We'll just go through a couple of quick. This is just an example on an all-cash deal at a price of $60,000 on a typical triple net house. Your annual triple net lease payments would equate to $5,460. That's $455 per month, which again, like I said before, equates to a 9.1% annual cash-on-cash return. Oh, skip that slide. Let me go back real quick. Here's an example with financing. On a 30-year fixed mortgage at 6% interest, which is about what the average of what we're seeing these days on investment loans. You have your sales price at $60,000. Your down payment would be 20%, which is $12,000. Now, the seller would pay 2% towards closing costs of the purchase price. So would basically pay $1,200 towards closing costs, which is the maximum that the seller is allowed to pay. So we would knock off a good portion of your closing costs as well. You'd be financing $48,000 in this example. Your annual triple net lease payments would still be the same at $5,460, but you would have a mortgage on this house. So therefore, your mortgage payment at 6% interest over 30 years is $3,453, still leaving you with an annual positive cash flow after you make your mortgage payment of $2,007. Now, although your cash flow is lower than in the previous example, your cash-on-cash return in this example is higher because you're only putting the $12,000 or 20% into this transaction. So you see the power of leverage there when you use that in your investment if you are able to finance property. Let's quickly go through the triple net houses renovation process so that you know what we do on a typical house when we purchase it and then begin to renovate it. First thing is we generate a list of renovations that that specific property needs. Every property is going to be a little bit different and unique, so we go through that property individually and make a list of everything that that property needs as far as repairs that we feel it's going to need for that at least that 10-year period and beyond. Then we have a dedicated team of licensed subcontractors and general contractors that perform all the work to our standards. You know, we do our own quality control, so they know what to expect from us. And also, you as the investor, you know, if you do purchase the house before renovations are complete, we will make that contract contingent upon the renovations being completed. And you know, we can either get you in town to review the renovations when they're done, or what we typically do for our out-of-state investors is we will do a virtual tour on the property once it's complete, and we will send that virtual tour to you to verify that all the renovations have been completed prior to closing. And we do that for your peace of mind, and it also gives investors the ability to put a house under contract before the renovations are done. And we've seen that happening a lot lately because of the demand that we're seeing from investors from across the country. And then I'm just going to go through a recent house that we've renovated. This is one that we did back at the end of last summer. This is to show you, a typical before and after. Now, this house may be a little bit more extreme. It was in pretty rough shape to begin with, which not all of our houses are this rough to begin with. But the finished product is what we're aiming for. We want to show you what to expect as a finished product. This is the house that we did at 2100 University Place right here in Dayton. You can see the house was really neglected before we touched it. All overgrown. You could barely get to the front door of the house because of the overgrowth. The house was just overtaken with vines and weeds. Inside as well was pretty rough shape. But here's what the house looks like after. Just some of the things that we did on this property were new roof, new windows, completely repaired all the brick, new siding and trim boards, all repainted, re-landscaped. Looks like a completely different house. Just a picture of the garage, if you could even tell that's a garage before, and what the garage looked like after, converted it back to a usable, functional garage. Again, new roof, all new trim boards, got rid of the jungle that was surrounding it, and made it a functional, workable garage again. A couple pictures of the inside of the house. You can see the top picture is actually a sunroom off the side of the house, and you can see the windows boarded up. Some water damage from the old, the roof that was in disrepair before in the corner. Some tiles coming up off the floor. And in the bottom picture, you can see the condition of old wallpaper and paint, and just that was pretty consistent with the whole house. Here's what that sunroom looked like afterwards. You can see complete new tile floor. All the trim boards have been repaired and replaced. New windows, new lighting, new paint. Completely different look. This bedroom on the second floor, you can see refinished hardwood floors. All the doors have been refinished, new windows, a new ceiling fan. This is the level that we're taking things to in our properties. Just a picture of the kitchen before we touched it, and here's the kitchen afterwards. You can see new ceramic tile floor, brand new cabinets and countertops, sink, new windows, and we're not putting the cheapest products we can find in these houses. You can see we try to take it to a higher level. Because we know that we're going to be servicing this house for at least 10 years. We want to make sure that the components that we're putting into the property are of a high enough quality that they're going to last, longer than that. And also that's it's great for your long-term investment as well, knowing that you're not getting the cheapest components and the cheapest labor into the house. This is a very high-quality renovation that we're doing. Just a picture of one of the bathrooms in this house. This picture was actually taken right after we started the demolition. And same bathroom afterward. You can see completely new new surfaces, new fixtures, really a whole new bathroom. And we're about ready to move into the actual tour now. Give everybody a chance to get caught up. And I think everybody is now with us. The houses that you see across the screen right now are just some of our houses that we've sold in the last year or so. And we'll move right into the first house. First house on our list today is 356 East Nottingham Road. Right here, you can see obviously from the pictures, this house has not been renovated yet. The pictures are a couple weeks old. We have started the renovation on this property. And expect that in about 2 to 3 weeks. Priced at $68,000. It's a 3-room, 1-bath, 2-car detached garage. You can see in that picture there. It does have a full basement, and it has about 1,225 square feet of living space. At $68,000, your triple net lease payment would be $516 per month. Nice, very nice brick Cape Cod style house, very structurally sound, obviously needs some cosmetic work. You see a lot of these houses in these neighborhoods have the old awnings on them, which we do remove to get a lot of more natural light into the house. Every house that is a triple net house will have central air conditioning added to the property, so it's no longer necessary to really cover up those windows, which is what a lot of these awnings were for, to keep the houses cool back when they were built. Moving on to the next property, 2358 Alpine Way. This is a brand new one. We just picked this house up. Another brick Cape Cod style house, and if those of you who aren't familiar with Cape Cod, basically that means it's a story and a half. You've got typically a couple bedrooms on the first floor, and the upstairs is either one open room or a bedroom in another room. This house in particular is 2 bedrooms on the first floor, 1 bedroom upstairs, 1 full bath. It's got 990 square feet, full basement, and a detached garage. You can see from the pictures that this house has not yet been renovated, so if anybody's interested in this house, we would write this house up contingent upon renovations being completed prior to closing. We do that for your peace of mind. This one is priced at $65,000, which equates to a triple net lease payment of $493 per month. Moving on to the property, and again, any questions, go ahead and type those questions in. I'll get to all the questions right at the end of the tour and address any of those questions you might have while we're going along. Next house, 17 Kipling Drive in Dayton, Ohio. Another 3-bedroom Cape Cod style brick house. This is in a neighborhood that we do a number of properties in, a very good neighborhood for it. Very well built Cape Cod style houses. This 3-bedroom house has about 1,186 square feet of finished space. You can see it does have a detached garage, and it does have a full basement. This one's also priced at $65,000, so your triple net lease payment on this house is $493 as well. All right, moving on. 3518 Merrimack Avenue in Dayton, priced at $60,000, 2-bedroom. Now it says 2-bedroom. We're only counting this as a 2-bedroom, but this is another Cape Cod house that does have finished space on the second floor, which could potentially be used as a 3rd bedroom. But as far as tax records are concerned, it's considered a 2-bedroom. 1,204 square feet of a full basement. You can see a 1-car attached garage from the picture. Price on this one is $60,000, which equates to a triple net lease payment of $455 per month. Renovations have not started, so again, if anybody's interested in this property, we would put this under contract with you contingent upon the renovations being completed prior to closing. And typically, from time that we put the house under contract, usually within about 45 to 60 days, we're able to close on that property, and once all the renovations are completed. Next house is a ranch-style house at 18 West Worley Avenue. This is Trotwood, Ohio. Trotwood is the very next suburb outside of the city of Dayton. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,107 square feet. It does have a partial house. 2 garages on this one. It has a 1-car attached and a 1-car detached garage. You can kind of see in the picture there the detached garage off the back left-hand side of the house. Again, house has not been renovated yet, but this would be a pretty quick renovation, probably about a 2 to 3 week renovation. So once anybody would put this under contract, we would get it on our renovation schedule, and usually we should be able to close a house such as this in about, like I said, 45 to 60 days at the most. Priced at $61,000, your triple net lease payment on this house is $463 per month. 7511 Old Dayton Road. This one is also in Trotwood, right on the outskirts of Trotwood. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, just under 1,300 square feet. A little different here. It's got a little bit more of a country setting. It's on an acre of land. It does have a 2-car attached garage. Price on this house is $90,000, so your triple net lease payment is $683 per month. So for those of you who may be looking to maximize your cash flow, this is a great house providing a nice high cash flow every month. You can see from the pictures again, the house has not been renovated yet. A house of this size, with the right contractor in place, would probably take about 3 to 4 weeks to complete. So again, once, if anybody's interested in this, we would put this under contract with you contingent upon those renovations being completed. We are currently already scheduling April closings, and pretty quickly here we'll also be moving into May. So anybody that's interested in doing something in the springtime, we're already there. Next property, 328 Point View Avenue. This is more of a typical traditional 2-story house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,234 square feet. It does have a full basement and a detached garage. This one's priced at $58,000, so somewhat more on the lower end of the price range of what we do. Your triple net lease payments are $440 per month. You can see that this house is in relatively good condition to begin with, but it has not been renovated yet, so we will still be doing a number of renovations on this property. Again, this house in the condition that it's in, probably about a 2-week renovation from start to finish, so we could get this one done pretty quickly for anybody that's interested. Another house on West Worley Avenue in Trotwood, Ohio. This is at 4 West Worley. This is a Cape Cod style, story-and-a-half sided home. It is 3 bedrooms, just over 1,250 square feet. It does have a full basement. No garage on this house, but left-hand side of the house it does have a carport. Priced at $64,000. The triple net lease payment on this house is $470 per month. You can see from the pictures that the house also has not been renovated. This is a pretty quick renovation as well. This one would probably be about a 3 to 4 week renovation from start to finish. So anybody that's interested in this, again, we would put this under contingent contract, contingent upon renovations being completed prior to closing. The next house, another little bit larger house, 5643 Shanklin. This is another one that's a little bit more of a country setting. Priced at $90,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, over 2,000 square feet, and it sits on about a half an acre. It does have a 2-car attached garage, as you can see from the picture. Your triple net lease payments on this house would be $683 per month. This house has also not yet been renovated. Being a little bit larger of a house, this one would probably take about 3 to 4 weeks, if not maybe 4 to 5 weeks to renovate from start to finish. So again, anybody that's interested, we would write it up contingent upon those renovations being completed prior to you having to close on the property. Next house, 1446 Norville Court in Dayton. This is a nice little 4-bedroom, 2-bath ranch-style house. It's a combination of brick and siding. You can see from the pictures, renovations have not started on this house either, but not in too bad a shape to begin with. Priced at $65,000. Your triple net lease payments would be $493 per month on this property. And the last house on our tour tonight is at 304 Connect Drive in Dayton, Ohio. This house is finished. Renovations are completed. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, just over 1,000 square feet of living space. It does have a full basement and a detached garage. You can see from the pictures, all the renovations have been completed. It's priced at $55,000. And your triple net lease payment at that price is $417 per month. This house being completed, we could probably close this house, on a cash deal within a week to 2 weeks at the most. A finance deal would probably take about 45 days at a minimum to process the transaction. All right, now time for questions. I'm going to go ahead and scroll through some of the questions that you guys have typed in so far. Anybody that has any other questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in, and I'll get to them one at a time. First question, how much is appreciation in Dayton? That's a good question. If you look at the past 40 years of history in Dayton, we average about a 4% yearly appreciation over that 40-year track record. We're not a double-digit appreciation market. We've never been a bubble market, and we will probably never be a bubble market. Now, one thing that you will find about Dayton is we are very undervalued compared to a lot of other similar markets, even other similar markets in the Midwest. That being said, a lot of your local economists tell us that we should expect, once we come off these bottoms, above average appreciation for the first few years, that once the real estate market continues to improve. However, I would say if you want a conservative estimate, you're probably looking in that 3 to 4% range over the long term, because that's, history tends to repeat itself, and that's what we've averaged over the last 40 years. Good question. This is a question that comes up. Any information on the financial health of triple net houses and what happens if triple net has financial trouble? Well, I'll address the first part of that question first. First, triple net's financial health is very strong. We are a growing company. We've been in business since 2007. We currently have approximately 150 triple net leases in place with investors from all across the country. Every triple net house that we've sold, the triple net lease is still in good standing and in effect, and we've never missed a triple net lease payment to an investor. Second part of your question was, what happens if triple net does have financial trouble? Well, the nice thing is we do have, we have the availability of financing in place and lines of credit to where even if there was a shortfall one month, we would have the availability to still continue to make your payments. Even though we've never missed a payment, we don't foresee this happening. We do have a backup. We do have backup funds available for that if that should occur. But for the time being, we've seen nothing but growth, and we see nothing but growth for the near future, especially as the buying opportunities remain as strong as they are here in the Dayton market. Are your prices considered after repair values? Yes. The prices that you see are inclusive of all the repairs that we are going to make. Repairs are obviously going to be different from one house to the next. Obviously, the more repairs that house needs, typically the lower the price that we have paid for it when we purchased it, knowing that we're going to be putting more money into the repairs. But the prices that we're quoting on the webinar tonight are finished product. It's not uncommon for us to put $20,000, $30,000 or more into the renovations on these properties. We're not looking to make a killing on each property. We want to provide a quality construction and a quality house to the investor, because we look at this as a long-term relationship as well. We're not just selling you a property and then saying goodbye. We're selling you a property, then leasing it back from you, and then that property is our responsibility for a 10-year period. So, that's why we do a very good job renovating and are very careful with our quality controls, in those renovations. Another question here: are 1031s only done with single-family properties? I don't claim to be a 1031 exchange expert. The biggest thing is it has to be a like-kind exchange. So if you have a residential property, you can typically 1031 exchange that for another residential investment property. I've even had people who, like I said earlier in the webinar, who will sell a property that, maybe $250,000 property, and they purchase 4 triple net houses in that like-kind exchange for that one property, and that is definitely doable. Now, whether you're able to, if you have, a multifamily property, 1031 exchange that for a single-family property, that would be a question for a 1031 exchange professional or for your attorney. But if that's something that you want me to look into, feel free to email me after the webinar, and I can check with my resources and see what information we can find for you on that. Is financing completed through Ohio banks? The lenders that we use are located here in Dayton. Now, a couple of the lenders that we use, though, are, they're national lenders. They're not just small local banks. But we do have sources. One of our sources is Prime Lending. That is who we use most often. Prime is a national lender, but they do have an office here in Dayton. So we do work through a local loan officer, which tends to make the process a little bit smoother and a little bit easier, since they know what we're dealing with, and they know the ins and outs of our operation and what our investors are looking for. And if you do want contact information for the lenders that we use most often, again, feel free to email me after the webinar tonight, and you can see my email address is right there on the screen currently, and I'd be happy to send you that information. Are there any other questions? If so, go ahead and ask them now. I think we've run through all the questions that I had on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple more seconds for anybody to see if they want to pop in with another question. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And looks like we do have another question. Is it necessary to visit the property during the process? That's completely up to you. We have, since we do work with a lot of out-of-state investors, some people are not able to make it to Dayton. We do invite you here if you choose to visit us. We'd show you property in person, or if you wanted to come and see the finished product in person before you close on the property, that's fine as well. But what we do for a number of our out-of-state investors is we will not only provide you with pictures of the house before we start the renovations, but also during the process. I personally go out and tour each property weekly, take pictures for my customers, and email pictures to show you the progress on the house from week to week. And then prior to closing, I do a complete virtual tour on the house to show you that house in its finished state, so that you can verify that all the renovations have been completed as promised prior to you having to go to closing on that property. But whatever you're most comfortable with, we're completely open, and we'll assist you in any direction that, as far as that's concerned. Okay, I don't see any more questions right now. Again, if you want to go ahead and type one in, feel free to. I'm going to start to wrap this up. You can see my contact information there. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email with any questions that you may have. We've really had good success with these webinars in showing people from all across the country the houses that we have available on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Our inventory does change quite often. So if you're not at the point where you're ready to do something just yet, feel free to check back with us. We do have webinars on a regular basis. However, if you are interested in any of the properties that you've seen tonight, please do contact me as soon as you can, because again, we have hundreds of people coming to our website every day and checking out our inventory, and you never know when that one house that you may have been interested in might be snatched up by another investor. Kind of just talk about this. What's the next step? Next step is completely up to you. Is contacting me with any additional questions, or if you see something you would like to reserve from tonight's webinar, go ahead and contact me right away. Or if there's a house that you want more details on, would just like more pictures, more details on that particular property, I'd be happy to provide all that information. Looks like we're about wrapped up. I don't see any more questions, so I want to again thank everybody for joining us tonight. I'll let you get back to your evening, and I hope to talk to a number of you very soon.